The number 666 has long been misunderstood, feared, and misrepresented. For centuries, it has been linked with evil, with darkness, with the end. But in truth, it is not a curse. It is a mirror. It does not threaten. It reflects. It asks you to stop and look inward, to examine the life you are living, the path you are walking, and the choices you are making every single day. In the context of personal growth and spiritual awakening, 666 symbolizes imbalance, an alert that something deep within is misaligned. Not just spiritually, but mentally and emotionally. It signals the excessive pull of material desires, the distraction of ego, and the weakening of discipline. And when this number surfaces, it is not trying to frighten you. It is trying to wake you up. July represents a pivotal moment in the journey of transformation. The middle of the year, a turning point, a reflection point. It is the fire in the center of the calendar, offering heat for those who are cold in spirit. This is the month that shakes foundations, not because of external chaos, but because the inner world begins to crack open. For some, this will be uncomfortable. For others, it will be liberating. The shock is not a disaster. It is clarity running through the park. It is the startling realization that the way you've been living is not sustainable. That comfort has become your cage. Routine has numbed your soul. And when you are brave enough to face this truth, that is when real change begins. This is a time to reclaim your awareness, to stop feeding the weaker parts of yourself, procrastination, overthinking, doubt, and to start nourishing the parts that have been waiting to lead you, discipline, presence, wisdom. July invites you to cut ties with what drains you and build connections with what sustains you, not through loud declarations, through small daily decisions. Wake up with purpose, move with intention, rest with peace. It is these simple practices that shape your future. You must understand that the battle ahead is not in the skies or in politics. It is within. Forces of distraction, fear, and indulgence will always exist, but so will the choice to rise above them. The real war is between the version of you that wants ease and the version of you that wants growth. This is the battle 666 brings to your attention, and this is the battle July prepares you for. So take this as a sacred moment, not to fear what's coming, but to become what is needed. You are not here by accident. You are here now because you are meant to remember your strength, reconnect to your purpose, and rebuild your life from the inside out. Let July be your month of inner revolution. Let it be the moment you stopped running from truth and started walking toward transformation. The world may shake, but the awakened will stand firm. In a world overflowing with noise, notifications, and non-stop movement, greatest shock isn't found in natural disasters or world events. It is found in silence. Silence has the power to reveal everything we've been running from. July carries this kind of silence, not the quiet of inaction, the stillness of realization. It is during this time that many will experience an unexpected inner awakening, one that feels unfamiliar, even uncomfortable. This is not a punishment, it's a necessary pause, a wake-up call. Because the real shock that's coming is not outside of us. It is the undeniable truth that most people have been living on autopilot, asleep at the wheel of their own lives. The number 666 appears like a warning light on the dashboard of the soul. It's a signal that you're off course, that your life has been absorbed by distractions, addictions, and comfort zones. It's a reminder to realign with your deeper purpose before the consequences of misalignment begin to echo louder. July becomes the spiritual checkpoint. A month to assess your inner world, your decisions, your direction. It's the bridge between what was and what could be, and you are the one who must decide which side you'll walk toward. This moment in time demands awareness, not panic. Awareness of how you've been spending your energy. Are your thoughts creating strength or stress? Are your daily habits leading to expansion or erosion? Are your relationships built on truth or fear of being alone? These are not questions for philosophers or monks. These are questions for you, anyone who truly wants to live instead of just exist. Because the truth is, the life you want won't be delivered by chance. It will be built through courage, intention, and consistency. Shock everyone will feel in July won't come from the outside world turning upside down. It will come from the inside world finally being revealed. The masks people wear to look happy will begin to crack. The lies they've told themselves to stay comfortable will collapse. Underneath that collapse is something beautiful, the raw material of rebirth. Only those who are willing to let go of illusion will find their strength. Only those who are willing to be still in the storm will learn how to move through it. This is your invitation to step away from noise, to stop chasing validation, and to begin asking deeper questions. Who are you becoming? What are you creating? What are you avoiding that must now be faced? These questions are not meant to depress you. They are meant to set you free. July is here to cleanse, not condemn, to sharpen, not shame. But like a blade being forged in fire, the process will require heat. It will require you to sweat, to reflect, to endure. And if you are willing to pass through that fire, what emerges will not be the same version of you that entered. It will be the version this world needs, ready, rooted, real. Most people live each day waiting for something external to change their lives. A promotion, a relationship, a breakthrough moment that will finally give them peace. But the truth is, the most powerful transformation always begins from within. July presents such a moment. Not because it carries some magical property, because it brings with it an energetic invitation, an inner call to awareness. For those who are paying attention, this month becomes the turning point. For those still lost in distraction, it may feel like everything is suddenly falling apart. This collapse is not chaos, it is an opportunity. The shock that's coming is not about destruction, it's about revelation, a revealing of what's been hidden beneath the surface for too long. When you hear the number 666, understand that it's not about external evil forces, it's a code, a signal that something within you needs to be addressed. It speaks to the temptation to stay small, to remain addicted to comfort, to live in fear rather than in purpose. That's the true enemy. Part of you that chooses the easy way out again and again, even when you know it's not leading you anywhere. And July will bring this truth into the light, whether you're ready or not. If you've been feeling restless, unmotivated, disconnected, understand this. It's not a sign that you're broken. It's a sign that you're being called to realign. The world around you is shifting, but more importantly, so is the world within you. And that shift can feel like a shock if you've been ignoring your inner voice. Voice has been whispering for months, maybe years, but July makes it louder. It challenges you to stop numbing your pain and start listening to it. Because inside the pain is a message. Inside the struggle is the seed of change. You were not born just to survive the days, but to awaken something powerful within you. That awakening doesn't come by accident. It comes through discipline, through choosing stillness over distraction, building habits that elevate your mind, your body, and your spirit. July is the month to start, not because of some deadline imposed by the universe, but because there is no more time to waste. Your potential has waited long enough. The world may continue to chase illusions, quick fixes, status, shallow pleasures, but you must rise above that. Deeper your roots in self-awareness and truth, the less shaken you'll be by what happens around you. Let others be surprised. Let others be shocked, but not you. You've been preparing quietly, patiently, with intention. And now it's your time to rise, not loudly, powerfully. This month, stop asking when things will change. Start asking how you can change. Because the moment you take full responsibility for your inner world, everything in the outer world begins to transform. Is the true power of awakening. And that is the gift hidden within July's silence. There are moments in life when the ordinary becomes sacred, not because the world has changed, but because you have. July is one such moment. It stands as a threshold between the life you've known and the one that's calling you. What makes this month different isn't in the calendar or in the cosmos. It's in the invitation it offers you to finally take responsibility for your evolution. You've been handed opportunities before, and maybe you ignored them. You've heard your inner voice before, and maybe you silenced it. But now, there is no more room for delay. The illusion is fading. The truth is surfacing. And it will shake you. If you're not rooted in who you are, when people hear 666, they immediately feel unease. But what if that unease is exactly what we need? What if the discomfort is not an enemy, but a guide? This number does not bring doom, it brings reflection. It points to the imbalance in our lives, chasing success but forgetting peace, accumulating things but losing meaning, showing strength but hiding emptiness. It is the mirror that asks, are you in alignment or are you living a lie? July then becomes the moment to answer. There's a reason so many people feel anxious without knowing why. It's because they've lost touch with their center, outsourced their value to opinions, their peace to circumstances, and their joy to things that don't last. July arrives as a spiritual reset, not to punish but to purify, not to destroy but to rebuild. Shock, everyone talks about. It isn't chaos. It's truth, and truth is only painful when you've been living outside of it. If you've been ignoring the small signals, fatigue, disconnection, stress, this month may feel overwhelming, but that's not a curse. That's a call to awaken. You can no longer carry your old self into your new life. The habits that kept you numb won't serve you anymore. The mindset that kept you playing small is being exposed. And the identity you built out of fear must now evolve into one built from awareness. This is your season of shedding, of stripping away what no longer serves, even if it's familiar. Especially if it's familiar. True growth often feels like loss at first, loss of ego, loss of false friendships, loss of comfort. But it is through this loss that you gain your real self. This is not about becoming someone else. It's about finally becoming you. Do not fear the change that's coming. Fear the consequences of staying the same. July is not the enemy. It is the alarm clock. The shock isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you. And once you are awake, you can no longer live as you did before. Not because you're forced to change, but because you choose to. And in that choice lies your greatest power. Change does not come with comfort. It comes with disruption, with realization, with a deep, sometimes painful honesty that shakes the very foundation of how you've been living. July holds that kind of energy. A moment of interruption. A divine pause where life invites you to look closer. And when the world begins to shift, most people focus outward. They panic, they search for explanations, they blame circumstances. But the wise do something different. They look inward. They ask, what is life trying to show me right now? Because the shock that is approaching isn't punishment. It's perspective. The symbol of 666 is a spiritual code, not a curse. It is not about some external force coming to destroy, running through the park. It's about the inner conflict that already exists within you, between your higher self and your lower habits, between the person you pretend to be and the person you were born to be. When this number appears, it marks a crossroad. You are being called to examine whether your life is being led by truth or illusion. And July, with all its intensity, becomes the mirror. It doesn't lie, it reflects, it doesn't judge, it reveals. And when the reflection is honest, it can feel like a shock. This is not a message of fear, it's a message of awakening. If your days feel heavy, if your dreams feel distant, if your spirit feels lost in the routine, then this is your sign. Life is trying to wake you up, and when the universe wants your attention, it will not always whisper. Sometimes it must roar. Sometimes it must shake the ground beneath your feet just enough for you to stop walking blindly and start walking consciously. This awakening won't come from waiting. It will only come through work, the kind of internal work that no one else can do for you. You must learn to sit with your thoughts instead of escaping them. You must learn to breathe through discomfort instead of avoiding it, running through the park. You must build the strength to listen to your intuition even when it tells you to do the hard thing. That's what transformation demands. July is not about the world ending. It's about your old world ending. The world where you lived on autopilot. The world where you settled for less. The world where you ignored your potential because it felt safer to stay in the shadows. That world must end for something greater to begin. And it will feel like a shock because growth always does. So let this month be the one where you choose clarity over confusion, discipline over distraction, purpose over fear. Choice is not between pain and peace. It is between meaningless pain as purposeful pain. The kind that leads to breakthrough. The kind that turns you into someone unshakable. The greatest shock coming is not what will happen in the world. It's what will happen in as youth if you are brave enough to finally become who you were meant to be. Running through the park. There comes a time in every person's life when the soul begins to stir, when the questions grow louder than the distractions. The pull towards something deeper becomes impossible to ignore. July is that time. Not just another month, but a spiritual checkpoint where life confronts you with a choice: evolve or repeat. This is not about a prophecy of doom or chaos raining from the sky. This is about awakening to the reality that the greatest battles are taking place inside of you. And when you resist that truth, awakening feels like a shock. But when you embrace it, it becomes your greatest breakthrough. The number 666 symbolizes imbalance. Park, it's not the number of evil, it's the number of awareness, a divine code pointing to areas of life where ego has overshadowed essence, where desire has replaced discipline, and where routine has killed reflection. It serves as a mirror to your internal alignment. Running through the park, asking you to pause and observe. Are you chasing things that are slowly destroying you? Are you avoiding the very practices that could save you? Are you living your life or merely surviving it? July offers you an opening, a portal of clarity, but it's not automatic. You must step into it with presence. You must be willing to disrupt your comfort, to unlearn old patterns, to disconnect from the noise that's numbed your spirit. Because the truth is, most people aren't afraid of change. They're afraid of being seen, truly seen. Not by others, but by themselves. And that's exactly what this moment forces you to do, to see yourself clearly. Not as you hope to be, not as you pretend to be, but as you truly are. There is nothing more shocking than self-awareness when you've been living in distraction. There is also nothing more powerful, because once you see the truth, you can no longer return to the lie. You can't unknow what you've realized. You can't go back to sleep. Once your soul has begun to wake up, and that awakening is what this time is all about. This is your reminder that your life will not change through wishing. It will only change through working on your thoughts, your habits, your energy. You must rise above excuses, above your story, above the need to be comfortable all the time. The path ahead requires grit, focus, stillness, and faith, not blind faith, earned faith, built by the small, consistent steps you take every single day to return to your true self. July is not the enemy. It is the trainer. It's here to strengthen you, to refine you, to prepare you. Because what's coming is not destruction, but revelation. And the ones who thrive through this season will not be the strongest physically, but the strongest spiritually. Those who are rooted in purpose, anchored in presence, and no longer afraid to face themselves fully. Let this be the month you finally stop running. Not from the world, from your own becoming. There is a sacred kind of shock that doesn't destroy you but awakens you. It doesn't come with warning signs or sirens. It comes through a moment of deep, undeniable clarity. July carries that moment. A disruption not of the world but of your inner patterns. The number 666 often triggers fear, yet its deeper meaning is not about external evil. It's about the inner distortions we carry: imbalance, obsession with material gain, detachment from our soul. This number calls for correction, not condemnation. And when it appears in your life, it means the time to realign is now. Greatest shock this month is not what's happening around you, but what's beginning to shift within you. There's a quiet rebellion rising in your spirit, a refusal to keep living on the surface, pretending that everything is fine when it's not. The truth is, pretending is exhausting. Suppressing your real desires, your real questions, your real pain, it creates pressure. July is when that pressure bursts, not to break you, but to release the truth you've been burying for too long. This season is about confrontation. You must face the parts of yourself you've avoided: the laziness disguised as rest, the denial disguised as peace, the fear masked as humility. There is no transformation without truth. You can meditate, journal, seek guidance, but until you face yourself without filters, nothing changes. This is the root of the shock. Seeing yourself clearly. Maybe for the first time, it's uncomfortable, yes, but it's also where your freedom begins. You've been given this moment not by coincidence, but by design. Everything you've resisted, every lesson you've postponed, is resurfacing now for one reason: to make you whole. You're not being punished, you're being purified. July is here not to destroy you, but to strip away everything that no longer serves you: false beliefs, worn out habits, and attachments that have kept you small. But understand, this awakening isn't automatic. It's a choice. You can ignore this moment, distract yourself with temporary comfort, and continue the cycle of avoidance. Or you can stand still, breathe deeply, and finally listen to the call. The world may not see your battle, but that doesn't make it any less real. The discipline, the doubt, the internal dialogue, it's all part of your spiritual training. This is your invitation to rise. You don't need a perfect plan, you just need the courage to begin. Choose one habit to release. Choose one truth to face. Choose one step toward alignment. Every step counts. Every choice matters. The shock of this month will wake many, but only a few will rise. Let yourself be one of them. July will leave a mark, but whether it becomes a scar or a symbol of rebirth is up to you. When others look back at this time in confusion, let your life be the evidence that awakening was not only possible, it was necessary. And it began the moment you stopped hiding and chose to transform.